President Joe Biden has given remarks at a White House ceremony to celebrate the momentous Supreme Court confirmation of Ketanji Brown Jackson. Justice Jackson's appointment fulfills President Joe Biden's campaign promise to put a black woman on the court. He hailed her confirmation, saying she will be an incredible justice. The vote was overseen by Vice President Kamala Harris, the first black woman to hold the office. Well, let's look back at the reactions that have come from Democrats in the last 24 hours.
President George Washington once referred to America as a great experiment, a nation founded on the previously untested belief that the people, we the people, could form a more perfect union. And that belief has pushed our nation forward for generations. And it is that belief that we reaffirmed yesterday. Through the confirmation of the first black woman to the United States Supreme Court. And Judge Jackson, you will inspire generations of leaders.
Now, yesterday, this is not only a sunny day, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. This is going to let so much sun shine on so many young women, so many young black women, so many minorities, that it's real. It's real. We're going to look back, nothing to do with me. We're going to look back and see this as a moment of real change in American history. My fellow Americans, today I'm honored to officially introduce to you the next Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, Ketanji Brown Jackson. After more than 20 hours of questioning at her hearing and nearly 100 meetings, she made herself available to every single senator who wanted to speak to her and spoke for more than just a few minutes, answered their questions in private as well as before the committee. We all saw the kind of justice she'll be: fair and impartial, thoughtful, careful, precise, brilliant, a brilliant legal mind with deep knowledge of the law, and a judicial temperament which was equally important in my view, that's calm and in command, and a humility that allows so many Americans to see themselves in Ketanji Brown Jackson. That brings a rare combination of expertise and qualifications to the court. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I knew the person I nominated would be put through a painful and difficult confirmation process. But I have to tell you, what Judge Jackson was put through was well beyond that. There was verbal abuse, the anger, the constant interruptions, the most vile, baseless assertions and accusations. In the face of it all, Judge Jackson showed the incredible character and integrity she possesses. Poised.
Me forward to this day. The notes that I've received from children are particularly cute and especially meaningful because more than anything, they speak directly to the hope and promise of America. It has taken 232 years and 115 prior appointments for a black woman to be selected to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States. But we've made it. We've made it, all of us, all of us.
A moment of history there, both for the President Joe Biden and of course Ketanji Brown Jackson. Meanwhile, across the U.S., people are reacting to the good news. Law students at the historically black college, Howard University, spoke of how Jackson's confirmation has opened the doors for more black judges.
Incredible. I think, it wasn't expected. I mean, of course, Biden said that if he were to be appointed or, elected, this is what he would do. But people say a lot of things. So to actually see it happen was incredible. Like, this is a black woman, and I think black people have been the blueprint for a really long time, and now people are starting to really see what that means, as far as what it means in history. This is one of the most powerful positions to hold in the world. So it's just crazy to me to think, okay, next year people will be reading textbooks with opinions that she wrote for SCOTUS, and so that's pretty big to me.
Elated, to say the least. Represented, heard, seen, and grateful. I think going beyond the representation, the things that she learned and that public defenders experience and go through, having that representation on the bench of the most powerful court in the country is important, because it provides a perspective of the unheard, of indigent people, of people who just are often looked over, and she's able to be the voice for them, in my opinion. I think now we're kind of realizing that so much resilience is not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes it's okay to break and to feel your emotions. But seeing her in this moment being attacked by relentless white men whose arguments had no basis, and to see her face them, and it was funny seeing her look sometimes like that black mom look, like, all right now, and then just respond in a way that, she had no emotion.
Well, let's bring you more on the historic confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. And right correspondent Dan Warren joined us to give his analysis.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is a landmark moment in US history. And as you would expect, anything involved within the United States history, it didn't go without the drama in terms of the hearings. And one thing actually that has come out of it on a bipartisan basis is both parties are saying, look, when we do this process again, let's just take away the politics and go talk about the actual person that is up for the job, because we saw this with the former president's nominee, especially Amy Coney Barrett, where the Democrats were completely against it, and you end up with this dividing line. But essentially the Supreme Court needs to basically manage itself without too much political influence, and I mean, it's still 6-3 conservative majority. So with the fact is the political balance hasn't changed. It's likely basically the more Republican or conservative led judges will have that majority, but there are a lot of them that are independently thinking, and this is what the Supreme Court almost needs to be, a mix-up of people from different backgrounds, and they might have a party allegiance, but they also have a brain and can think about situations and cases on a case-by-case basis, as opposed to a generic policy. And this seems to be a narrative from both sides. So going forward, it might make this process less cutthroat. But as it stands today, the Supreme Court balance in future will not change. It is interesting, President Biden hailing the announcement of such a landmark deal. Remember, this President Biden has had over 50 years now of experience in Capitol Hill and Washington. So some would say he was possibly part of the problem, why it's taken so long. He obviously made a pledge if he was accepted as the Democratic nominee for president, that there would be a female vice president, because he said that time has changed and it's been too long. But he has been part of the system, and the same when it comes to the Supreme Court. He was vice president for 8 years. he could have certainly had some influence there. But the fact is, this morning, America is quite excited. Obviously, there is some disappointment from the Republican side because it is a political battle. I think one problem we are seeing, though, is the US media are almost trying a bit of a race war. There was Tim Scott, a Republican, who ended up voting against Judge Ketanji Brown's appointment, basically said, was being accused on MSNBC earlier of being rally-roaded by Lindsey Graham and the other white men. He was going, actually, no, I made my decision based on what I heard. And I think this is what we're seeing with many issues in the US, that balance on facts and reporting also will help, as opposed to politicians live on news channels getting accused of joining certain cliques in order to make this a political war. There are some people that are actually doing it as their own thoughts and their own basis. As I said, they may have a political advantage or a political allegiance and be elected as a Republican or Democrat. But when it comes to judges of appointments of the Supreme Court, they tend to have a more personal approach and a personal feelings. So the US media have certainly got their part to play in some of the anxiety we've seen over the last couple of weeks.